Hello, YouTube. Oh god, I'm a mess. Well, so, new world. Found diamonds already. Um, oh yeah, I got torches now. Oh god, that, my eyes. So, I made a new world because, well, I was bored with that other one because I lost everything. And I have the beauty of seeing diamonds already. Like, 10 minutes in this new world. I found a, what's it called? A temple. And I got all of this from a temple. And there was a ravine, so I just jumped. Pretty dumb of me. And I found this area. And okay, let me open up my stream. Keyboard, you're useless. Wait, I'm gonna read you your comment, Super. I feel like it is you, Super. It's always you. Is there more diamonds? Where's my crafting table? Okay, there it is. Wait a minute, what? I thought I crafted it. Five minutes in this new world. Oh shit! I am very mad. I am extremely mad. It was just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 10. I hate your kinds. I hate these kind of I hate creepers. Creepers always ruin the whole game. They're so annoying. Once they catch you in surprise, you can't do anything about it. They have to catch you in surprise. And then, voila, you're dead. Because these mobs are the things that could ruin everyone's game. And I was right next to lava, so I lost most of my stuff. But this... I'm very sad. I'm almost where I came from. There's a desert. I'm in a cave, where's the dirt? Oh god, this is gonna be sad. Oh. I hate this game so much. I just created a new world. Hey Zenith and dude, you can't join the world. It's because the world I have no PSN. That's why. Yeah, I have to put down the volume of my stream. This is really sad. Okay, because now I don't have a skeleton that shot me. That made me lose 2 hearts. The skeleton somehow hit like a tank now. I don't really care about losing anything. I don't have any good stuff. I just have to mine 1 tree. One tree, then I have everything to get back to the surface. Iron pickaxe and diamond pickaxe, then it won't break. God damn it. I like how I found one of these areas. Oh no, it had saddles and horse armor. I could have gotten a horse. I should have not went down there yet. You know, I'm not gonna take any damage. Then from here, yes. Jesus Christ. I am very mad right now. I am mad, okay? I'm sorry I had to do this, but I am mad. I am legit mad at this game. Really? Do you really give me 1 torch? Okay, 2 torch. Ooh, that's actually not that bad of a start. 2 blocks. I think this is how you do it. I think this is how you do it. I saw this from a Sunday video. This is how you can expand the map. Wait, no, I don't. Wait, what? How do you do that? Like, this treasure map is bigger now. Okay. Actually. Oh, there it is. Hey! So I got armor now. I got this iron sword. I'm having a good. I'm living good. I got a good amount of food now. Okay. Slow biome. Looks like iron ingots. I can make a helmet. Oh my god, this is gonna be a boring stream. I stopped streaming for a little bit because I was tired. I didn't really want to do anything for a bit. But now I'm back and yeah. Minecraft is fun and all. I just got on it right now. I was playing Fortnite, but who wants to watch me play the new season? Hardly anyone. Oh, there's a mine shaft near me. Anyway, this cave is gonna be my little home. Right here's my actual house. Okay, this is like a meth lab. I can use this treasure map as a coordinate. Actually, do I got enough? No, I need to get more cobblestone. I should live in a cave. What the heck? That grew really fast. Okay. Oh yeah. So this is. I got really nothing to talk about. I'm not really that good of a creator. I got nothing to talk about. I got no announcements. I haven't done any giveaways at all. I want to do one bit. Yeah. Keep on forgetting. I'll be back. Yeah, I have to do some chores and I have to go eat something.
Merk show, but was robbed and left for dead by his promoter. When he went back to London, he had grown so grotesque that he nearly started a riot at the train station by just standing around.
Hello.
By this
Hey.
point, the elephant man couldn't even speak, and
So I'm
he had
back.
a doctor's business card to show authorities as an explanation. At one point, he was eventually noticed and pitied by Queen Victoria herself, and he lived a higher quality of life with the upper class thanks to her sympathy. Still, he grew so lonely that he hoped to find love at a blind home out of his desperation. This never happened. He would hope that a person who had this wonderful life would always get to die a peaceful death. The truth is, Merrick did die in his sleep, but probably not in the way you were hoping for. Merrick always slept sitting upright, but one night he decided to try something different and slept laying down. Unfortunately, his head had grown so ridden with tumors at this point that it was extremely heavy enough to dislocate his neck during his sleep. Was the elephant man still mercifully asleep when his neck snapped under the weight of his own misshapen head? Or was he awake and fully conscious to experience all of the pain? There is no way to tell for sure, but based on all of the previous suffering that he had to endure, there's no reason to suspect that his luck suddenly changed for the better in those final few moments. Number 2, the lobster boy Grady Stiles. I'm not a fan of my dad as a person, said the son of Grady Stiles to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, going on to call his father racist and abusive. His daughter Kathy, on the other hand, prefers to describe her father as Satan himself. Grady Stiles, otherwise known as the Lobster Boy, was born with a special defect that mutated his hands and feet into single pincher claws. Most of the family is afflicted with the same genetic disease. Apparently, Grady's claws grew to become extremely muscular and powerful, which, when combined with a sadistic temper and alcoholism, was a recipe for mistreatment for his poor family. Though he appeared friendly enough at sideshow attractions he worked at, it was not uncommon, according to his family members, for the lobster boy to choke people with his claw-like hands and headbutt them in the stomach whenever he got angry or upset. The lobster boy himself, however, did not admit this. Instead, he preferred to talk at length about other uses for his wrinkling appendages, which he says the women especially enjoyed. Either way, the family grew fearful of his constant threats, and one day Grady's wife had enough. She contacted a neighborhood friend and said she didn't feel safe, that something needed to be done, and that she was willing to pay. According to Grady's wife, she had just meant to have him beaten up and taught a lesson, but one night as Grady pinched a cigarette between his claws and drank Seagram 7 on the sofa, a man entered his home and shot him in the head multiple times. The lobster boy was no more. He was hated by the local community so much that hardly anybody attended his funeral, and absolutely nobody would volunteer as a pallbearer to carry his coffin. Ironically enough, his tombstone is marked by 2 praying hands. Whether or not this was done intentionally to spite and mock him forever remains unknown. Number 1, the Running Man. No one on earth was more glad to be stabbed than Arnold Jared Hinskes, aka Merk, a European from the Netherlands. One day in the early 1900s, he traveled abroad to live with monks, at least according to his story. When he returned, he had learned a new skill that was unbelievable. He could stab himself without injury. Now, when I say he could stab himself without injury, we're not talking about some horizontal slash across the wrists. No, I mean this guy would stab his sword straight through himself and not even blink. After a while, he changed his name to Merk and started making a living. He was such a medical marvel that doctors had to take a look for themselves. On multiple occasions, doctors from around the world performed a variety of medical tests on him while he stuck swords through his body over and over again. They even took an x-ray to verify that this wasn't one of the world's best optical illusions, but it certainly wasn't fake. Somehow he was truly able to impale himself without dying. Merk had such confidence
No call. Hello. All right. that. Like, that's weird.
This be my very, very soon.
What? Turtle, did you us? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I did.
Welcome to the world headquarters of Treehouse Comics Inc.
No, here we just hang out and try to make each other laugh.
That's how we became friends. Hey, I'm George. You were at my treehouse after school. You have a treehouse? Ever since then, he's hundreds of comics in here.
He wanted to spend Saturday with his family.
Done. If you won't do it for me and you won't do it for you, do it for future generations. The first graders.
Yo, what the hell?
Okay, let's do this. I told you I would you one day. And that day I was talking about is this day. Are you gonna tell our parents?
No. I'll tell you what we're gonna do. First thing Monday morning, we're that turtle. Ew. They like each other.
Oh no, George, I think it's much worse. They each other.
What are you talking about?
Turtle and I have grown quite attached. We're inseparable, actually. I him wherever I go. Including the shower!
Oh.
Poor turtle. It's really incredible. I can actually see your... Let that be a lesson to evildoers.
Top 5 dumbest end of the world.
All right, here we go. To the side.
It's the end of the world. That's a pretty common phrase, isn't it? You hear it in songs, movies, and TV shows, but so far, every single prediction has been wrong. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to make this video. However, some predictions are a lot more wrong than others. Some predictions are just so strange, you wonder how anyone even believed them at all. My name is Danny Burke, and this is the top 10 dumbest end of the world predictions. At number 10 now, we're going to start with the one a lot of you guys might remember, 2012. December 21st, 2012 was the day that the ancient Mayan calendar would end and a new one would begin. Now, some people took this to mean there would be a spiritual transition for the world. Others thought it would mean the literal end of it. The theories for this range from giant tidal waves to crust-shattering earthquakes. There was also the belief that the Earth was going to collide with a mysterious planet X, or that the magnetic poles would shift on Earth. It was all pretty crazy stuff, but it caught on so much they even made it into a movie called 2012. Some of you guys may have seen it. Doesn't really have the same appeal now that we all survived it. Coming at number 9 now, we have the prophecy hen of Leeds. I love this one. Back in 1806, in the city of Leeds in England, a lot of people were convinced the world was going to end. They thought this because it was written on the freshly laid eggs of some hens. This is actually true. People from all over England went to visit Mary Bateman, whose hens were said to be laying eggs with the phrase, "Christ is coming" on them. People believed that this was a prophecy of doomsday, that Jesus was going to come back and start the end times. Well, 1806 came and went, and the egg's words didn't actually come true. That's because Mary Bateman had faked them. She would write the messages on the egg and then insert them back up into the hens. I don't think the victims in this were the ones who believed all of it. I think it was the poor hens. All right, coming out number 8 now, we have Y2K. Now, a lot of you guys may be too young to remember this, but in the run-up to the new millennium in 1999, a lot of people were scared of Y2K. Experts have pointed out that a lot of computers in the world weren't actually programmed to handle the change in date from 1999 to 2000. It sounds kind of stupid now, but it's true. Some people thought that this would bring the end of the digital age before it had even begun. The computer systems all over the world would just break down. The Y2K would cause a virus fatal to every computer and pretty much send us back to the Stone Age. In the end, some computers did break or display the wrong date, but we got past it. Now we've just got to hope that we fix all of this before the year 3000. We've got a little bit of time. Next up at number 7 now, we have Heaven's Gate. Now this one is dumb, but it's also kind of sad for me. See what you guys make of it though. In 1997, the Halley-Bopp comet appeared in the night sky, first time in thousands of years. A whole cult sprang up in San Diego who believed that an alien spacecraft was traveling behind the comet and that they had to get on board because because the Earth was about to be wiped clean. They called themselves Heaven's Gate. Now, they believed the only way to get to this spaceship was to leave their current vessels behind, which was their bodies. So, on March 26, 1997, 39 members of the cult drank poison and died. The leader of the cult was obviously a mentally ill psychopath who made a very dumb prediction. I just feel really bad for the people who went along with it. Alright, next up at number 6 now, we have the Jupiter effect. In the mid-1970s, some people believed that the world was going to end on March 10th, 1982. This would be the date when all of the planets would perfectly align on the same side of the Sun, even Pluto, which was a planet back then. They thought the gravitational effect of all the planets lining up would affect the Earth, leading to huge storms, as well as earthquakes and volcanoes, the likes of which we have never seen before, the end of the world. Now, all of this came from a book called The Jupiter Effect, the author of which went on to say later that he was sorry he ever had anything to do with it. As you can probably tell from today's date, the world did not end in 1982. Moving on to number 5 now, we have Robert Fitzpatrick. This man belonged to an evangelical group who believed that the world was going to end on May 21st, 2011. Now, they had got this information from certain Bible passages and secret codes within them, and Robert decided he wanted to share this news with everyone. He then spent $140,000 of his own money traveling around America to warn other people that on this judgment day, the Earth will be swallowed up by fires, earthquakes, and tsunamis. He said that only the righteous would be spared this fate by being sucked up into heaven. Robert gained quite a bit of fame in the lead up to this day and decided to prove everyone wrong in public by spending the very last hour in Times Square in New York. Now, of course, when it didn't happen, he was mercilessly mocked by the crowd around him. He just sat there, kind of flicked through his Bible and kept saying he didn't understand why it hadn't happened. This is another one where I do feel kind of sad because this guy obviously had a serious disconnect from reality. Alright, coming out number 4 now, we have Obama is the Antichrist. A lot of people really like President Obama. Some people didn't, but I think everyone can agree he was definitely a human. Well, not everyone, unfortunately. In 2008, when Obama was first elected, an email chain started spreading around the world. It said that according to the Bible, the Antichrist will be a man in his 40s of Muslim descent who will deceive the nations with persuasive language and have a massive Christ-like appeal. The prophecy says that people will flock to him. He will promise false home and world peace. And when he is in power, he will destroy everything. Is it Obama? Now, amazingly, a sizable amount of people actually believe this rubbish, and they really thought that Obama was the Antichrist who would destroy the world. What a sad thought. I'm glad they were wrong. Okay, coming out at number 3 now, we have the Black Rainbow. Jerome Criswell Connick was a popular American psychic who died in 1982. Now, throughout his life, he made a lot of quite strange predictions. For example, he said there would one day be cannibalism in Pennsylvania and that a great drought would leave New York in ruins. But perhaps his strangest prediction was the Black Rainbow. Criswell said that on Wednesday, August 18th, 1999, every point on Earth would be covered by a black rainbow, the darkest black you can imagine. The black rainbow will then start sucking up the oxygen from our atmosphere like a huge snake suffocating its prey. For the next few hours, we will all grow weaker and weaker as we couldn't breathe, and then we will all go silently, gasping for breath, and there will be only silence on the Earth. Huh. Lovely stuff. Well, I had my birthday not long after that day, and I remember the oxygen levels were pretty fine. Had some nice cake too. Alright, moving on to number 2 now, we have Baba Vanga. This Bulgarian woman who died in 1996 had the catchy name of Nostradamus from the Balkans. She made a bunch of different predictions, but one in particular stood out, World War III. She even gave the year this would happen, 2016. She said the continent of Europe will be left almost empty after being turned into a nuclear wasteland, almost entirely devoid of any life forms. I mean, to be fair now, with the way the past few years have been going, a nuclear war hasn't seemed quite so crazy as it used to be. Hopefully, if any of you guys are watching this years from now, things will have calmed down a little bit. But still, she said 2016, so she was wrong, technically. Sorry, Baba. And finally, at number 1 now, guys, we have Pat Robertson. He is an American minister who is known for his evangelical Christian TV shows. Now, one of his shows was called The 700 Club, and in late 1976, he made a doomsday prediction on it. He said that in October or November 1982, the world would end. 4 years later, he clarified this by saying, I guarantee you, by the end of 1982, there is going to be a judgment on the world. Obviously, like everything else on our list, he was sorely mistaken. But it wasn't all doom and gloom. In 2011, Robertson and other people who incorrectly predicted the end of the world were awarded the IG Nobel Prize, teaching the world to be careful when making mathematical assumptions and calculations. Ouch, that's gotta hurt. A little bit of a burn. Right, I predict this video is over. That's right, I always make very safe predictions. Make sure you guys let me know what you want to see next on Most Amazing. My name is Danny Berg. Thank you as always for watching. See you in the next one, and hey, check out our merch.
The Form 2 SLA 3D printer is manufacturing's best-kept secret for efficiency and innovation. Leading manufacturers are using 3D printing to save costs and time on the factory floor, validate designs, and tighten feedback loops with the Formlabs Form 2 3D printer. See why the Form 2 is the most popular SLA 3D printer on the market. Request a sample part printed on the Form 2 and feel our advanced engineering materials firsthand.
When you shop at Wayfair, you don't have to settle for what's in the showroom. You don't have to leave your happy place, waste the day on hold, or strap it to the roof. Choose your home without ever having to leave it. You don't have to, because you've got Wayfair.
Welcome back, everyone. We're heading off into space for today's video. If space is your kind of thing, then do check out our top 10 scary NASA urban legends. It should be right up there, I think. Today, though, we're sharing real accounts of people who have been to space and the scary things they've experienced, the unexplained sightings, and the memories that haunted them for years after. It's a good one. My name is Danny Berg, and this is the top 10 scary astronaut stories. Starting off number 10 now, we have The Knocking. In 2003, Yang Liwei became the first Chinese person in space. It was a historic occasion, but it also became famous for a creepy occurrence. In 2016, Yang told an interviewer that he heard someone knocking on the outside of the spaceship on that trip. He was terrified and tried to peek out of the porthole, but couldn't see anything outside. When he got back to Earth, Yang described the sound to experts. He even tried to recreate it for them, but nobody could identify it. In the years since, many people have tried to explain this strange phenomenon. Some say it could have been some space debris, but others say that this is unlikely, as space debris is few and far between. Others claim it could be the expanding and contracting of the ship due to the changing temperature of the spaceship as it orbited the Earth. Even though that's the leading theory, many people have their own theories about aliens or time travelers being responsible for the mysterious knocking sound. Moving on to number 9 now, we have alien music. In 1969, American astronauts Tom Stafford, Gene Cernan, and John Young went to the far side of the moon for the Apollo 10 mission. It was going to be the final test before Apollo 11 took 3 humans to walk on the surface of the moon for the first time. When the Apollo 10 astronauts were orbiting around the far side of the moon, they took photographs of its surface. As they were working away, they began to hear music. Specifically, they heard a strange whistling sound that lasted nearly an hour. When it faded away, Commander Cernan said, "Boy, that sure is weird music. We're going to have to find out about that." Pilot Young replied, "Nobody would believe us." And for the most part, they were right. Many people couldn't explain the sound that they claimed to have heard, and so they just didn't believe it. The leading theory is that the sound came from radio interference between spacecrafts. Some people have dismissed that, though, and have insisted that the astronauts would have known the difference between
1969, NASA succeeded in history's most daring mission.
That's one small step for man.
Now, mankind's greatest achievement is a stunning live show. Apollo 11, the immersive live show, live on stage in the Lunar Dome at the Rose Bowl.
radio interference and their spacey music. Coming in at number 8 now, we have Snakes in Space. In 1994, Dr. Story Musgrave did an interview where he described his career as an astronaut and one particular time which shook him to that day. He said, "On 2 of my missions, I still don't have an answer. I have seen a snake out there, 6, 7, 8 feet long. It is rubbery because it has internal waves in it, and it follows you for a rather long period of time. The more you fly in space, the more you see an incredible amount of things out there, and that sort of thing brings to you really a certainty that other living creatures are out there." Now, usually an account like this might be dismissed, but Musgrave is a doctor. He has 6 academic degrees, is a trained mathematician, he was in the Marine Corps, and was a NASA astronaut. He seems like a credible witness. He believes that there are advanced creatures existing in space itself, and that he has even tried to communicate with them in the hopes that they come down and get him. Whatever that means. Next up at number 7 now, we have docking. In 1995, famous Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield had his first space flight. His job was to relay the speed and range information to the pilot as they were docking into the Russian Mir space station. Any mistakes could have resulted in a total disaster. Too soft and they would have just bounced off. Too hard and they would have broken the space station in half, killing the 3 people on board. Everything was going smoothly, but then one of the sensors started telling them they were 32 feet away, the other said 20 feet away, which was correct. If they didn't solve the problem in 30 seconds, it was over for them. Hadfield had to calculate how far they were away in his head, timing it with his stopwatch to decide when they should fire their thrusters. Luckily, they ended up being spot on and they docked almost perfectly. It took a few minutes before the astronauts began to realize they had done it. They were alive, they had avoided a space disaster, and they had lived to tell the tale. Moving on now to number 6, we have Impossible. On May 5th, 1981, Russian cosmonaut Vladimir Kovalyonok looked out of his portal of the Salyut orbital space station. He then saw something which seemed inexplicable to him. When he returned to Earth, he told the world at a conference what he had seen. He said, "Many cosmonauts have seen phenomena which are far beyond the experiences of Earthmen. For 10 years, I have never spoke on such things. The encounter you asked me about happened on May 5th, 1981 at about 6 p.m. during the Salyut mission. At that time, we were over the area of South Africa, moving towards the area of the Indian Ocean. I just made some gymnastic exercises when I saw in front of me, through a porthole, an object which I could not explain. I saw this object, and then something happened that I could not explain, something impossible according to the laws of physics. The object had this shape, elliptical, and it flew with us. From a frontal view, it looked like it would rotate in flight direction. It only flew straight, but then a kind of explosion happened. Very beautiful to watch, of golden light. That was the first part. Then, 1 or 2 seconds later, a second explosion followed somewhere else, and 2 spheres appeared, golden and very beautiful. After this explosion, I just saw white smoke, then a cloud-like sphere. Before we entered the darkness, we flew through the Terminator, the twilight zone between day and night. We flew eastwards, and when we entered the darkness of the Earth's shadow, I could see them no longer. The 2 spheres never returned." That was the end of the quote. There have rarely been descriptions so vivid and detailed, and many people who hear Kovalyonok's story hold it up as proof of extraterrestrial life. Moving on now to number 5, we have Toxic. In the mid-90s, Bob Kirby took part on his first spacewalk as an astronaut. Unfortunately, disaster struck when a connector to a hose began to leak on the outside, spraying toxic ammonia all over him. He couldn't get back inside the space station covered in that stuff. He managed to stay calm and he fixed the leak, but he was still contaminated. He came up with a plan. Ammonia has a low boiling point, and so Bob decided to literally bake himself in the sunlight of space for an extra 30 minutes in order to vaporize the ammonia off him. He had to just sit out there in space, hoping that he got all the ammonia off and that he didn't poison the crew and himself when he got back into the station. It was a success. His plan worked, but it was one of the most surreal and scary moments an astronaut could ever experience. Next up at number 4 now, we have the lights. In 2005, astronaut Leroy Chiao was commander on the International Space Station for over 6 months. He was once doing a spacewalk to repair some antennas when something caught his eye. He saw some lights that seemed to be in a line, almost like an upside-down check mark. They flew right past him, but his fellow astronaut didn't see because they were facing the other way. When he described the sighting to those back back on the ground, they dismissed it as a fishing boat hundreds of miles below him. Chiao himself had stated that he doesn't believe there's ever been any tangible evidence that someone else is visiting Earth or has done so in the past. He has simply told his story as it is and is leaving all of the explaining up to everyone else. Coming in at number 3 now, we have the Drifter. Now for some people, the biggest fear they have about space is that feeling of drifting away from the space station, unable to claw themselves back. Well, Scott Parazinski may have had the closest experience to that. He was performing a spacewalk when a jammed solar panel threatened the safety of the entire space station and the crew inside. After 72 hours, NASA came up with a plan. Scott was told to travel further away from the safety of an airlock than had ever been attempted. He later said in an interview there was a real danger that we could do even worse damage to the space station. Then there was the potential of risk to myself, because if there was any metal-to-metal connection with the solar panel or arcing, I could actually electrocute myself or cause ignition of the 100% oxygen in my spacesuit. The stakes were high, but Scott succeeded. Disaster was averted, but sadly many of Scott's heroics are still not known by the masses. Moving on to number 2 now, we have the secret transmission. In 1975, retired Chief of NASA Communications Systems, Maurice Chatelain, published his book, Our Cosmic Ancestors. In it, he made an extraordinary claim about the first manned mission to the moon. He said, only moments before Armstrong stepped down the ladder to set foot on the moon, 2 UFOs hovered overhead. Edwin Aldrin took several pictures of them. Some of these photographs have been published in the June 1975 issue of Modern People magazine. Now, this claim was linked to the story that there were 2 minutes of radio silence after Armstrong set foot on the moon. People claim that the lost audio was of him saying, "These babies were huge, sir. Enormous. Oh God, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, there are other spacecraft out here lined up on the far side of the crater's edge. They're on the moon watching us." Now, of course, all of this is speculation. An actual recording of that audio or of those pictures has never surfaced. That either means it didn't happen at all or it's been covered up very, very well. Either way, it's a creepy story. And finally, number 1 now, we have the Green Bolt. Gordon Cooper was a well-known astronaut who flew on the Mercury 9 and Gemini 5 missions. He was the last American to fly alone in space. In 1963, he flew aboard the Mercury capsule for a circumnavigational trip around the world. Everything seemed to be going okay, and then, on his final orbit, as he passed over Perth, Australia, he saw a green object swing towards him at an incredible speed. At first, he thought it was just a figment of his imagination. There have been times where pilots and astronauts have seen objects like this, but their equipment detected nothing. This time was different though. The Moochia tracking station in Western Australia actually picked the object up on their radar. That was huge. Now he had something solid to back up his own experience. He reported the incident to the National Broadcasting Company. When he returned to Earth, he was eager to tell his side of the story, but Gordon claims he was approached by NBC reporters who told him they had been instructed to not question him about the sighting. All of this has only fanned the flames of a UFO conspiracy. So there we have it, guys. Some stories from space. Space. The final frontier. It's a fascinating topic, but as this video showed, there are scary sides to literally everything in life. Which one of those was your favorite? While you think about that, I'm going to read out a comment from my top 10 lyrics you never realized were creepy video. Remix CCC CBC said, "He knows when you're sleeping, he knows when you're awake. How about that?" Yes, that's very true. Now that I think about it, Santa Claus is Coming to Town is quite a creepy song. Or maybe, you know, the whole idea of an old guy with a beard watching people all year, even when they're asleep, and judging their behavior is actually the creepy thing. Well, if it is, Merry Christmas to that. Keep the comments coming in, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, my name is Danny Burke, and I will see you all in the next video.
Listen up, the soap you shower with, you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. They're still using whatever bar their mommy bought for her little man. Is that what you want? To smell like mama's little man? Ugh. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who open the pickle jar on the first try. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. Dare I say, soft. Oh, men aren't supposed to have soft skin? Yeah, well, men weren't supposed to cry during movies. And then they made the movie Rudy. You want to smell like the forest? Boom, pine tar, we've got you. You want to smell like the sea? Boom, nautical sage, we've got you. You want to smell like you just got off a boat in the Caribbean? Boom, Bay rum, we've got you. And with 6 more cents, we've got you covered no matter what kind of man you are. Now you're wondering, why have I been doing it wrong for so long? During the First World War, big soap started taking out all the natural ingredients to make production cheaper and faster. They replaced all the natural stuff with chemicals. Chemicals like sodium lauryl sulfate, parabens, and dioxin. Chemicals linked to depression, liver damage, cancer, and low sperm count. And worst of all, dry skin. Oh. Poor balls, all dry, empty, and sad. But there's good news. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. No. Turn your shower game up to 11 with the smooth lather of gold moss or the exfoliating woodsy bliss that is pine tar. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive. Still not sure? Here's a couple reviews from real customers. Joseph S. says, "This is the perfect bar of soap. It's like it was handcrafted in the Northwest forest by beautiful tiny elves." Oh, tiny elves isn't enough for you? Well, here's another review from Michael A.
Makes you feel like just stepped out of a mountain stream, and Squatch was there to hand you the towel.
Time for you to get the right tool for the job, because you're worth it, my friend. We ship it right to your door. And with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, if it's not the best bar of soap you've ever used, it's on us. Tens of thousands of men already subscribe, which means that every month, fresh new bars of Squatch show up at their door. Click the link for Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. Real soap for real men. Or don't. And continue to be Mommy's little helper.
That's a wrap.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Did he click it yet? Did he click the link? He hasn't clicked the link? I would have when I heard about the dry, sad balls. Man, what's this guy doing? Click the link, man. Step up your shower game.
There are 2,700 robocalls made every second in the U.S. You might have been on the receiving end of one today.
Yeah, there are dozens of apps that can help block those calls, but Sarah Navoy found one that not only prevents them from making another fake call, but also gets back at the scammers.
When his phone rings,
because of my job responsibilities, I'm required to check my phone. Hello?
Jason Silk has to pick up,
That one right there.
even when it's a number he doesn't recognize.
All on the same day.
Problem is, many times, it's not only not work-related, it's a scammer.
It's become an issue where it's distracting at work. You get upset, angry, you know. Dylan!
Even off the clock,
Come on, bud.
the calls just keep coming.
When I'm trying to do stuff with my children, and, you know, I'm getting 4 or 5 calls in an hour's time, you know, it's very just annoying.
Jason signed up for the Do Not Call registry, but his phone kept ringing. That service only blocks legal telemarketing calls. Most robocalls are not. So when he heard about another option,
That's genius.
he was all in.
So this is literally a program talking to this guy? That's amazing.
The app is called RoboKiller.
Welcome back, guys, to Most Amazing Top 10. My name is Danny Burke, and today we've got a scary video, I won't lie to you. I had a pretty creepy time putting this together for you guys, and I think you might experience the same thing, because this, today, is a top 10 scariest sounds ever recorded. Just a very quick disclaimer here, guys, at this point, some of these may be disturbing to you. If they're not, then great. You're a tough cookie, pat yourself on the back, but if you do think you might get easily scared or upset, then you have been warned. We're in this together though, so don't worry. Deep breath. Let's go. Starting things off at number 10, we have a sound that has been recorded by different people in different countries all over the world. The sound seems to be coming from the sky and can last seconds or minutes, but the one thing they all have in common is just how creepy they are. Take a little listen. What is going on there? That's a whole lot of note right there. The noises have been reported every single year since 2008. There are a number of theories ranging from it being a sign of the apocalypse, an alien invasion, or even a government technique to control the weather. Some scientists say that it's being caused by solar flares reacting with the atmosphere or coming from deep within the planet's core. Moving on to number 9 now, we're going out into deep dark space to hear the creepy sounds of Saturn. The sound you're about to hear was recorded by the Cassini spacecraft back in 2002. It came from the planet's magnetic field over the polar regions. The frequency was so high that they had to shift it down a lot so that you can actually hear it. Let's listen. Wow, scientists have explained this sound as natural radio waves passing along the magnetic field line of Saturn, but yeah, I don't really care if it's explainable, to be honest. It's really, really creepy. Alright, next up at number 8 now, we have the SpongeBob theme. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. How is that scary? You have to be joking. It sounds like this.
Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Okay, but now, guys, listen to this. This is exactly the same, but slowed down 800%. I don't know who discovered that. I don't know why they did it, but I wish they didn't. I know a lot of things sound creepier when they're slowed down, but this has to be the biggest one I've heard so far. Well, guys, that is pretty much as light as we're going to get for this video, I'm afraid, so let's just press on to our number 7 now with the Aztec death whistles. When archaeologists found these small skull-shaped objects in the ancient Aztec temple, they weren't really sure what they were at first. Some said it was a toy or just an ordinary carving. It wasn't until 15 years later that one of them had the thought of blowing into it. It turned out to be a whistle. The noise that came out sounded a lot like a human scream, and some people think it was used before battle or for ceremonies such as human sacrifice. And with that lovely thought in mind, let's take a listen to the death whistle. Creepy, creepy stuff. Alright, next up now at number 6, we have the bloop. In 1997, scientists were using deep-sea microphones to capture sound off the coast of South America. What they heard though, and what you're about to hear, baffled them. They said it could not have been made by a volcano or an underwater earthquake and was far louder than even the noise a blue whale makes. It was almost inconceivably loud and incredibly mysterious. These days, Apparently, scientists have put forward the explanation that it's the sound of ice sheets cracking that reverberates throughout the whole ocean, but some people still hold on to the idea that the bloop came from a deep-sea creature of unimaginable proportions. I personally don't think so, but mainly because I don't want it to be true. Alright, coming in at number 5 now, we have the castrato. Now, during the Middle Ages in Europe, some choir leaders wanted their star male choir boys to keep their high-pitched voices forever and not have them lowered by puberty. They did this by castrating the boy, removing the testicles, which then left them with their high-pitched boy voice forever. They were then known as castrato. Now, this practice was thankfully banned by the end of the 19th century, but one surviving recording of a real castrato has survived. This is that recording. This is Cavalier Morisetti, and some say you can even hear the sadness in his voice. Now, apparently, some people used to think that was beautiful. That's not the word that I would use. Personally, I'd call it spooky. Yeah, and I hope I never hear that again. Okay, moving on to number 4 now. We have Operation Wandering Soul. During the Vietnam War, the US government learned about the belief of many Vietnamese that their dead must be buried in their homeland or their soul will wander through hell for eternity. In order to help them fight the Viet Cong, they actually made recordings of voices pretending to be dead soldiers trapped in hell, warning their comrades to flee from the war or face the same fate as them. Does that sound terrifying to you? That's because it is. Take a listen. Obviously, I'm not even a Viet Cong soldier, and that makes me want to go home and like huddle into a ball on my bed and cry my little eyes out. Yeah, I'm tough. And now at number 3, we have the oldest surviving recording of a human voice. Even that sentence is pretty creepy. What you're about to hear is a man called Edward Leon Scott recording himself singing using his invention, the phonautograph. It's from 1860. Take a listen. That is 100% nightmare fuel. It's not even the crackling noise or how old it is that makes it creepy for me. It's the song itself. It sounds like a funeral march. It's a cool piece of history, but a very, very creepy piece of history. Okay, moving swiftly on to number 2 now. Things aren't getting any more pleasant as we've got a schizophrenic simulation. What you're about to hear is a recording that is supposed to recreate the voices that people with schizophrenia hear in their heads, whispering and telling them to do all kinds of bad things. That honestly makes me feel so bad for people with schizophrenia, but hopefully it will help bring awareness to that illness. For me, the scariest part was thinking, what if I paused the video, but the voices didn't stop? Okay, finally now at number 1, we have the exorcism of Anneliese Michel. Now this is apparently the sound recording of the exorcism of a German girl called Anneliese Michel, who was supposedly possessed by 6 demons and Catholic priests trying to exorcise them out of her. They ultimately failed and Anneliese died in 1976 after not being able to eat. This was actually the inspiration for the movie The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Now whether or not you believe in this kind of thing, it is undeniably scary. So if you do want to skip it, hit this right up here and it will skip it to the next bit. You can join us at the end. But for those of you who are still with us, let's take a listen. Now that video of this recording actually has 37 million views, and I imagine most people just listen to it once and then try and move on with their lives. Scary, scary stuff. Well guys, I hope you aren't too scared to carry on with your day after all of that. Don't worry, we're here for you, and Oh, we're back with another scary video. That's still not scary. Don't know why I do that, but hopefully this video is, because we're back with more scary sounds here on Most Amazing Top 10. My name's Danny Burke, and you guys seem to absolutely love our part 1 right up here. And by love, I mean you got like really creeped out. But who doesn't love that once in a while? I do, I know you do, and that's why we are back with the top 10 scariest sounds ever recorded, part 2. Are you ready? Let's go. Kicking things off at number 10, we have howler monkeys. Just picture yourself for a moment, guys, lying in the dark, alone in the Amazon rainforest. You've heard stories of the howler monkeys who call out in the middle of the night, and as you're lying there in silence, you hear this. This morning when I woke up, I wasn't scared of howler monkeys. Yeah, it's funny how things change. Moving on to number 9, we have the nuclear alarm siren. Now the siren you're about to hear is ready to play all over the world in a whole bunch of different countries. It's a sound that governments will use to tell their people, to tell you guys, that a nuclear attack will be happening within the next few minutes and to try and find shelter before the bomb drops. Of course, the sad reality is that for a lot of people, they probably won't be able to find adequate shelter in time, and this chilling noise will be the last thing they ever hear. Ooh, did they have to make it so scary? They could have just done any noise. Why does it have to be that one? It's just scary. They knew that. All right, next up at number 8, we have the Max Headroom incident. On the 22nd of November, 1987, a man dressed as a television character, Max Headroom, managed to interrupt the broadcast of a TV station to show possibly one of the strangest sights I've ever seen. And it's made extra creepy by the noise. That went on for about 90 seconds, and to this day, nobody knows who it was, how they did it, or why they did it. And frankly, I'm kind of happy not knowing. Coming in number 7, we have the weepy voice killer. Don't talk, just listen. Paul Michael Stefani was a serial killer who killed 4 women between 1980 and 1982. He became known as the weepy voice killer because after some of the murders, he would call the police in hysterics and start with, "Don't talk, just listen."
Fire emergency. Please don't talk, just listen.
He was eventually caught and sentenced to 40 years in prison, but died there in 1998. Very scary stuff. All right, coming in at number 6 now, we have the Lost Cosmonaut. During the space race between the Soviet Union and the US, both countries were very secretive about their space missions, and there were countless cover-ups or disasters that were never mentioned to the public. In 1961, 2 Italian brothers were using radio equipment to listen in on one of the Soviet missions, but what they heard chilled them to the bone. It appeared to be the sound of a female cosmonaut in distress as she re-entered the atmosphere. 3 days later, the Soviet news agency said there had been a failed re-entry of a satellite into the atmosphere, but they never acknowledged that this incident ever took place or that the woman even existed. As you can tell from those distressing sounds, she definitely did. Moving on to number 5, we have the UVB-76 radio station. Somewhere in Russia, there is a radio station that broadcasts a buzzing tone 25 times a minute, all day, every day, and it was first noticed in the 1970s. Sometimes the buzzer stops and a voice in Russian transmits numbers and codes, but nobody has figured out exactly what's going on. Now, I could show you guys many audio clips over the past 40 years, but one really creepy one that stuck with me is where a woman's scream can be heard underneath the never-ending buzzer. Next up at number 4, we have Area 51, the frantic caller. In 1997, Art Bell received a phone call on his radio station from a distressed man who claimed he worked at the top-secret Area 51 site, where many UFO stories originate from.
They are not what they claim to be.
Now what you're about to hear is some of his call before the entire radio station was mysteriously shut down mid-call.
The few that are left will be more easily controllable.
In some way, something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
Real? Maybe. I think that guy sounds legitimately terrified for his life, and why did the radio station get just shut down right after that? I don't know, but it's scary for sure. Alright, moving on to number 3, we have the WKCR incident. In 1995, someone hijacked the WKCR radio station in New York. At first, the song Walk, then otherworldly sounds started, and eventually a female voice began quickly reading out the names of people who had died during the 1980s. Those names included the likes of Barry Valentino, who was killed in a terrorist attack flying over Scotland, and Frank Oppenheimer, known as the father of the atomic bomb. Now, some people have doubted its authenticity, but either way, it's a creepy sound nonetheless. Coming in at number 2, we have the Night Stalker. This is the story of a rapist and murderer in East Sacramento during the 1970s and 1980s who would call up the homes of his next victims and leave answer phone messages telling them he's going to kill them next. Now, if this clip we're about to play you is scary to hear, imagine if you were the actual next victim. And coming in at number 1, when Hurricane Ike hit Cuba and Texas in 2008, it killed almost 200 people and did $37.5 billion worth of damage. There was an evacuation order on Galveston Island off the coast of Texas. One weather reporter chose to stay behind, though, and barricaded himself in his hotel. He recorded the sound you're about to hear as Hurricane Ike passed right over him. Now, I don't know why it sounds like someone opened the gates of hell, but I don't want to hear it anymore. Well, guys, what did you think of those? What was the most creepy? What was the least creepy? What good ones have I missed out? Let's just be scared down there together in the comments section. There's no creepy noises down there. My name is Danny Burke. You've been watching Most Amazing Top 10. Subscribe, be good, stay safe, and I'll see all you guys in the next one.
Don't get back here with my glasses. Please don't burn me. Have wrecked my home, but in return, I will take your head. Good morning, Kylie. How are you doing? Fine? Me too. Okay, enough talk. Let's make out. what I have built. You like it? I thought it would scare your foes. It took me 4 hours during the night to do this. 4 hours and a half to be exact. You were supposed to wait for it sword. Whatever. Attack! Daddy! You got home, man! You got home! Don't worry, guys. Larry Cooper knows how to solve this without having to go through so much trouble. Well, don't worry, guys. Larry Cooper knows how to solve this without... Junior, you look sad. But now is a moment for rejoicing. My revenge is finally complete. Revenge for what? I didn't do anything to you. Okay, maybe I just copied the test from you. And maybe I disintegrated your face. And destroyed your house. Correct. But today, your debt will be repaid. For me and my allies at the Mario Fan Club are going to take over this airship by kicking out every single last one of your family by force. Okay, I'll admit my men aren't best. It's over, nerdy. Maybe it's better like this. I mean, you already felt enough pain with being rejected by your own father. I hope you weren't thinking that I Mario'd your room for no reason. It was just to make you feel the horror of being sort of excluded by your own family. After you disintegrated my face yet again in the Mario Fan Club, I was dishonored by my fellow clubbers, and my authority was questioned. But after some suffering, I managed to fix the situation. Let's see if good old Prince Bowser Koopa II will manage to fix his situation after suffering the rejection. Daddy!
Junior! Hold my hand!
Daddy!
Oh god, this is the worst.
Sorry
This is
for pressing the turbo button.
Don't worry. After all, you did do your best to save the family from this creepy 13-year-old kid. Even though you screwed up when you threw yourself out of the airship.
I know, it's all my fault. I don't deserve to be king.
Even you make mistakes. For instance, I can't even defeat that stupid red plumber. Oops.
With so many patterns, colors, and sizes to choose from, you'll want a shag rug in every room. Pile height measures thickness and comfort. Higher pile shags are perfect for bedrooms. Shags also reduce noise, keeping your home calmer. Shop thousands of shag rugs on Wayfair.com.
crap.
I've got you now, you brat.
What are you doing, Ludwig?
Taking back what was taken from me the day you were born.
Stop! Wait! But I never did it on purpose. And aren't we brothers?
Brothers don't steal.
Junior!
Do you really think that hiding behind a wall of cowardliness, my savior? Ha!
Well, if that wall is made of titanium, then yes.
Cowardliness is not a useful weapon, child. But fury is indeed. And I promise you, Bowser Koopa the Sacker, you will soon taste my fury.
He hates me so much, but I didn't do anything to steal the throne. How did he even get replaced? And why by me? Woohoo! Oh yeah! Yeah, I won! If it was only so easy in real life. I mean, yes, remember that day? The day I was born? Yeah. You know what happened that day? How was he given the throne in spite of Ludwig? Well, nobody among us brothers know exactly what happened. But what I know is that on that day, before you were introduced to us, our father, our mother, and Grandpa Kamek were blabbing about how you were supposed to be raised as a perfect king. It was almost as if they had forgotten about Ludwig. He was the oldest son. Then again, I don't really remember them telling him that he was the king, but we all assumed he was, since he was the oldest. Then they started talking about something else.
So, when are we going to tell the rest of the children about where they really come from?
Someday, but not today.
That's it? Well,
Hey, Daddy's at work. Hello. Yeah, there's a mouse spawner here. I heard a bird zombie. I see a big one. There should be one Daddy Zach, wow, what are you doing? No, I'm on PS4 and I don't think that works. And even though I don't even have PS Plus, so I can't even invite you at all. I think it's good. Oh god, I didn't bring anything that I needed to bring. Alright. That's not going home. Wait, how did I get out? How did I get here? If there's a zombie spawner, then this is gonna be perfect. Ooh, that's deep. Wait, is that moist? Okay, no, it's not. I'm doing bad. let's see how low I am. I'm at diamond level. Why am I crossing so much zombies? Now I just need to get home. I have to get back to the surface. Yep, there is a zombie spawner near me. Oh, here's a safe distance. Wait, what? No, 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 no. God's sakes, no. How the heck did I have low health? I had full health, right? I thought I made a bed also. I didn't have that much goods on me. I just had I had a bit of goods. But I just need to find where I lived, and that's it. No, I lived in the snow area, but It was pretty far in. Let me get some food on the way. Is there an igloo right there? Oh, I know it's somewhere over here. I never saw that igloo, but still. Wait, how did... Oh, this is a bind. Oh, this is a village. Okay. Dude, this village looks nice, actually. I gotta find my home. Yes, this is a good sign. This is a good sign. It was packed up with snow, a lot of snow. Lots of snow. Wait, I saw that before? I saw that, I remember seeing that. It's back in here, a bit further in. Oh yeah, there's a lake, there's a lake. It's a nice, beautiful lake. I know that for a fact. Okay. Now, I seen that before. Yes, I seen that. And I'm home. Yeah, nice to know I live near a village. These don't despawn, the other hasn't despawned yet. in here. There's a hole, right? Okay. Okay, got my boot on. I really just kidnapped this base. Not base, but I kidnapped this zombie spawner. Pretty good. Now I'm a bit worried. They're gonna be spawning in. They're gonna be trying to get in. Okay. So now I now own a zombie spawn. My home is a bit done. So I don't know the way out. We actually you. Wait, actually, no. I now know. Just get to base. Just get to the base. You run straight ahead. You're gonna find a village. So run a bit over here. I'm gonna find my house. There's so much of these plants. No, no, no. Oh no, oh no, no, no. Okay. We actually have to sleep. I'll sleep before I can spawn. Hey, Gwen. Well guys, I'll be back. I'm gonna end the stream actually. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.